Okay, everybody, it is of course the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time for another delightful video. Today we're going to go back onto the subject of astral projection again. One of my subscribers has sent me a little private message through, and I'm just going to go through it, and we'll just see what this is about, see whether I can give any suggestions. If you're new to the subject of astral projection, if you're not, I don't care. Get a copy of the book The Projection of the Astral Body by Muldoon and Carrington. That is like as compulsory as you can get. It is probably the best text on the subject which I have seen so far, and I've seen plenty of books about that. When I was younger and going through the process of trying to find stuff out, I bought all kinds of new age books on the subject of astral projection, and a lot of them were pretty much the thumbs down, if you, in my humble opinion. So essentially, if I'm recommending that book to you, The Projection of the Astral Body by Muldoon and Carrington, then basically get it because it is red hot. Okay, the private message here says, I hope you're well. Hey, I'm not doing too badly. All right, I'll talk about health and fitness in another video, but let's get on with the message. Okay. I've been thinking recently about how my astral projection experience is. I usually can't see anything, it's just dark, but I can feel the sensations of travel, or sometimes even bliss from going somewhere heavenly. Astral projection is usually described as being a visual experience, but I don't get this. Do you have any thoughts? Well, let's stop right there, shall we, before we go into that. The phrase astral projection is supposedly connected to the idea of the spirit or the soul leaving the physical body. It's not necessarily to do with an out-of-body experience in which you can necessarily perceive anything, but it can still be connected to it. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos on the subject that there's different qualities of personal experience that you can get, and there's like a whole spectrum of them in which you're more consciously aware, you're less consciously aware, you're more sensorily aware. You're still getting all the astral projection sensations such as rising and moving across, and the astral body going vertical and moving out and doing various things. Or you may get a falling dream in which your body, or your spirit body is zooming down into your physical, boom, and at that point you wake up. Alright, that's still a form of projection experience, but your consciousness is slowly coming back as the spirit body is descending into the physical. This is the belief, okay? That's why you get falling dreams, usually. To the most part, you wake up when the spirit coincides and is once, perfectly aligned with the physical all over again. But some people do carry on in the dream world, but it's like a combination of dream experience plus the sensation of you moving through the physical world, so to speak. So it's like if like a full-blown astral projection, which is like you're totally walking outside of the body, is like the full thing. It's like doing that but dreaming, almost as if you're walking out and about but you're hallucinating. But sometimes you don't see everything and anything, but that's when you need to shift your center of awareness onto various different senses so you can try and experience more, and that takes a certain level of tranquil focus of attention. I mean, if you do astral projection, you don't just think to yourself, oh, I want to get up and go over there. You got to like frame it in your mind's eye as to what it feels like to go through those motions, as if motion itself is an emotion, and you need to try and generate that inside your own mind's eye when you're going through the experience. So no, it's not always totally visible, visible, depending upon how you want to define it, but it is still an experience. So yeah, you're still doing the same kind of thing, but there's a particular level of awareness or being. It isn't a question like one is higher than another, and you're like a really, really skilled, superior person if you can do it one way or another. But what it is, it's more a question of is that there's different qualities of experience, and that's one quality of experience. Now you say in your little private message, maybe it might be something different. I don't think it is. I think it's all part of the same ballpark thing, kind of like stuff. Then it says, could it be I am more a feeling-orientated person than a visual person? Question mark. To which I would say that is a hypothetical possibility. In which case you need to, when you're doing your meditation and you're looking at, taking time out to do meditation, as well as learning to sit down and listen and feel and sense the world around you. Try and work out in your visualization or in your mind's eye what it would look like if you were seeing it in black and white. Okay, you're aware of what it feels like, but in your meditation, try and work out what it would look like in black and white, as if you're training your nervous system, your astral energies, whatever it is, to think about the idea of perception in a different way, and use subconscious willpower if you've worked out how to do that yet, which is difficult to explain, to try and like suggest to yourself that you wish to have the visual experience when you're doing your astral projections. And it can take time again to rewire or reprogram your awareness so that these things can happen. But yes, it could. You can change your center of awareness so you can have a full visual experience. Peter J. Carroll, I think it was, in one of his books, either Liber Chaos or Liber Non Psychonaut, said that if you can use your passive willpower to try and convince yourself that you want to see your hands in a dream, that's like a signal that you want to have an awareness of your astral body when you're in that experience. You carry on using suggestion and meditation to say, I want to see my hands in my dream. And that can, or is supposed to be able to help somehow. Okay. Then the message goes on and says, here is the kind of thing I experience in more detail. When I astrally project in a semi-conscious state, I can never see anything, however I do feel all the sensations. That's what I was talking about. It is a semi-conscious state. You know, training yourself to be able to maintain your consciousness into this very unnatural feeling experience is very hard. And you don't always get it right. Even if you've been practicing for years and you want to do it, you can't always get it right. And that's what's so frustrating about astral projection, all right? It says, for example, spinning really fast as if outside the universe. Spinning sensations are interesting. Muldoon and Sylvan Muldoon suggested that this idea of spinning was a way of kind of like rattling your astral body out of the physical. There's a mention of the dervishes in Turkey who would spin as part of their dance to try and experience some form of ecstasy, which Muldoon believed that was a way of just like confusing yourself, so you couldn't necessarily associate yourself with being in the physical, which is what you would normally be able to do if you're sitting down and all the rest of that. He also suggested practicing meditation staring at your reflection, and if you carry on doing that when you're in meditation, you try and convince yourself that the reflection is the real you, and you might even develop a kind of like a feeling of dual position or dual awareness happening, and that's another way of getting yourself used to feeling outside of your own body. So you can try and use spinning. Sylvan Muldoon again mentioned the idea of visualizing or meditating upon a spinning star. You get the kind of feeling that I concentrated much more on my occult studies than I did on my university studies, don't you? I wonder why that is. Anyway, the message goes on and says, once or twice I went to heavenly realms or something, but there too I couldn't see anything. Well, that could be going to a place. Hypothetically, some people say that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can necessarily say totally concretely that that's what you were doing. But there are certain forms of meditation which you can do on what people believe to be the chakras, which can generate all kinds of like euphoric, ecstatic, like amazing feelings. Really amazing, kind of like, oh, wow, otherworldly, kind of, oh, God, better than so many things you could put into your body. I mean, some of these states of mind and feeling that you can get from your meditation to just, and if you're doing it as far as a prayer stroke meditation, your eyes do roll up into the back of your head, because of the feeling of ecstasy which you're receiving and getting. It's amazing. Okay. But I'm going on to another subject already. Okay, back on track. Last night stroke this morning, when this happened, I was conscious and tried to open my eyes. But when that happened, I saw the covers of my bed like in sleep paralysis and realized again that I wasn't able to see anything. Is there any way to open my astral eyes? Lol. It's rather, I actually think it's the other way, because when I have had conscious astral projections, I couldn't really close, or if I did close my eyes, I could still see through them, through my eyelids, so to speak. It was like a consistent level of awareness. One thing that might actually help you is to, again, use suggestion to try and instruct yourself as to how the whole process is going to go. All right, so you use your meditation. I'm giving you too many suggestion ideas all in one go, really, but you can pick and choose from these things what you want to be able to use. Okay, Right, now this one is more a question of using a meditation to say, okay, obviously I'm going to start off lying on my bed. And you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to start this experience lying on my bed. You're doing it when you're doing a meditation during the day, and you're telling yourself, tonight I'm going to do an astral projection experiment, and I'm going to experience it from this position. Okay, I'm going to start off through lying on my bed. I will then very slowly, as I fall asleep, experience a sensation of rising, just the emotion of rising. I'll not worry about it. I'll not panic about it. I'll just consider it to be a nice sensation I'm experiencing when I'm relaxing and falling off to sleep or rising off to sleep. Okay, and you just tell yourself and feel this lovely sensation of rising and floating. It's going to be beautiful. And although my body's going to be really, really, really relaxed, and I'm going to concentrate. Well, relaxedly, meditatively concentrate on being relaxed, I'm also going to feel this other feeling of floating and floating and floating and floating until it feels almost as if I've risen about 4 feet above the bed, and then I'm going to slowly feel sliding feet first in this direction to this one particular corner of the room. And maybe when you're doing this, maybe you can do your meditation, stand up, actually stand up and go to that corner of the room and tell yourself, this is where I'm going to move to in my dream experience. And this, where I'm standing right now, is where I'm going to stand. Okay, make sure it's a certain long enough distance away from your bed so the astral cable won't want to snap you back to your physical body, because that's the way it seems to work. Okay, you tell yourself, that's where I'm going to stand up, and from there I'm going to walk downstairs, and I'm just going to stand in the kitchen for a little while, and there I'm going to try and become more and more aware of my surroundings in the kitchen. And that's what you do. You carry on doing that, dripping that suggestion in. You carry on telling yourself you want to become more aware of your surroundings in whatever room it is. Okay? That's a way of doing it. And then you may come to the point of consciousness. I've had weird moments when, I would awaken in my dream state, and I was literally just like leaning against the counter in my kitchen. All right? Just the way I would if I'm like having my breakfast, just and thinking to myself, hang on a minute, am I asleep or am I awake? And then like at the moment I suddenly become aware, I see everything in the kitchen, and then I'm drawn straight out to the body as I suddenly realise I'm actually outside myself, and I'm finding it a bit scary. It's weird, it's wonderful, it's great. If you do it, it's great. Okay. Then the message goes on and says, I've heard astral projection described in ways where people can see what's going on to the extent that they can encounter beings and can visually see where they've traveled to. Sometimes that can happen, sometimes that can't. And it's very difficult. I mean, I've had experiences in which there were people standing beside my door frame, and it was weird, because and I really wanted to turn around and say, sorry, terribly sorry, old chap, am I actually dreaming this? But of course, I just came back to my physical straight away, and it was all rather weird. And some people out there will try and tell you that, oh yeah, they are great and powerful magicians, and they can just control it, they can just do it, they can just do it, yes, they can just do it, wankers. Alright, arrogant, stupid, conceited wankers. So ignore them. They got problems. Alright, and some of them actually have psychiatric health problems as well. So you've got to try and draw the line there between what is real and what they think is real, or whatever. Okay, then it says here, whenever this has happened to me, it's more like a lucid dream. Well, when you have a full-blown astral projection, it feels much more like you're awake. And, you can tell it, Then it says, although I rarely have them, are bright and vivid to me. Okay, namely lucid dreams. Yeah, they can happen, and they can be great fun, but the astral projection feels different because you feel awake and you can think awake, and you don't get that many unusual things happening apart from the fact you're out of your body, of course, and you can walk through walls, or it's kind of like being a ball of steam and forcing yourself through a net. As you're trying to force yourself through a wall, it's rather weird. On the other hand, astral projection isn't really a visual experience for me. It may become like that, but it's just a question of time, practice, and seeing what happens. For me to have my first ever fully conscious projection took me 2 years, and then I kind of lost it, and I got it back again, and lost it, and it just happens like that. And the more you practice your sort of religiosity type stuff, namely your meditations, and you obsess when you're not, obviously not during your day-to-day life, you don't go around telling people you're obsessing about it, but in your, in that special secret time in which you dedicate yourself to these things, you obsess about astral projection, you read books on astral projection, you read stories about astral projection, you carry on telling yourself what you want to do in your dream or in your dream body experience of that very night. And you do this every single bloody night. And you make it, you will it, you want it to happen, you allow it to happen, you train yourself in different forms of passive concentration to try and manipulate the way that the whole dream body experience is going to be, and then hey presto, you have it. Then you think, hey, that was cool. But was it really real? Was it really a dream? And then you carry on trying to force it, and you go and let's say you're going to go and have tea with a friend of yours, let's say, on one particular day. You tell yourself, I'm not going to tell this person anything about what I'm going to do, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go and project to them. That night before you go and have coffee or tea the next day, okay? Just, give it a go. Just see what happens, right? Just for a laugh. It doesn't matter, don't put all the stress of desire and I've got to really analyze this really, 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 really hard pressure on you. Forget that. Just think, I'm going to do this for a laugh. Put all that stress of anxiety and worry and fear and whatever, throw it away. And you just get on with it. And like when you're doing your projection training, you visualize maybe where they live and what it might be like, the imaginary journey of flying. You tell yourself, right, tonight I'm going to project this person, tonight I'm going to project this person. And you visualize them and you try and focus on them just as you're at that point of falling into sleep, if you can do it, okay? And then, you try and get there. Or maybe you just do it through a deep meditation. All right, and you're trying to communicate with them through deep meditation, visualizing your body next to, in the same room as theirs and holding a conversation. And you make sure you visualize certain key objects, like tell them that you're offering them a cup of tea or a cup of something special. And maybe like you go there the next day, you sit down, yeah, relax, how's it going, mate? Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, tell you what, dreams are funny things. I had a really odd one last night. You've been dreaming about anything a bit weird last night? And just see what they say. And you may, just may, be very pleasantly surprised as to what level of success you may get with that experiment. Okay? So this is basically my thoughts on the subject of astral projection as of today within the remit to this one particular video. Hope my hyperactivity hasn't, made you think, oh my god, he's crazy. This is what happens when you mix large quantities of caffeine with large quantities of nicotine. Young people, be aware, you don't want to be like me. Anyway, good fortune, God bless, God and or goddess and none of the above bless. Look after yourself, chill out, relax, and start wandering outside of your body. It's fun.